Hi guys, Natalie Willis here from the Baby Sleep Trainer. Welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to talk about the one thing you can do to break your child's sleep. Stay tuned. The one thing is not keeping your own reactions in check. Something I talk to my parents about constantly is don't be reactionary. And that is very, very difficult not to be reactionary. By nature of the term, it's just a reaction. So you usually aren't thinking about it. So reactionary, you're gonna hear me probably say this a bunch during this video, it's really related to intervention. But we're gonna go through a couple of different common scenarios in which parents' reaction or an improper reaction or maybe just being reactionary will set their child on the wrong course and have you scrambling to figure out what to do. So let's get into the first one. Physical milestones throw all parents through a loop. So this can be something like your baby suddenly going from back to belly and you not knowing what to do, or your 10 or 11-month-old figuring out how to stand up. Anything that's usually going on in the crib that isn't your child laying flat on their back. Sometimes this is your child falling asleep in a seated position or whatever, okay? A reactionary response would be like, oh my gosh, I have to do something. My baby isn't on their back anymore, or they're standing up and it doesn't look like they know how to sit back down. I need to do something. I need to go in and intervene. Your default should be not to intervene unless your child is in danger. Now, if you're watching this video and your baby's pretty young, I would recommend the next time you go in to see your pediatrician, ask them a question like, hey, kids tend to practice physical milestones in their crib. So I'm anticipating my baby figuring out how to roll to their stomach, or while they're learning how to crawl, maybe kind of get a little trapped-ish looking in a crawling position, or maybe they're gonna pull themselves up to standing or sitting. Do I need to do anything, or can I just give them the space to figure it out on their own? So I'm gonna go one step deeper here because I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, if my baby is stuck standing or sitting or on their stomach, they're gonna be crying. And it's really the crying that triggers the part of your brain that's like, oh, I have to do something. I have to do something, right? So if your child already knows how to fall asleep independently, so if you know how to put them down flat on their back, wide awake, and they know how to go to sleep completely on their own for naps and bedtime, that means that your child is sleep trained. And sometimes we have to make these two categories: children who are independent sleepers, sleep trained children, and ones who are not. So if your child is already sleep trained, it's especially important that you be thoughtful about whether or not intervention is necessary. And it's probably especially important for you to talk to your pediatrician well ahead of any of these issues presenting themselves and say, is it okay if I just give my kid all the time they need to work it out as long as I know they're healthy and safe? And if the answer to that question is yes, then that's the advice I would suggest you follow. Usually kids will eventually get themselves to sleep, and if you don't intervene, typically whatever it is that's going on resolves itself within just a couple of days. It's only when you start getting in there and sitting them down, for example, if they're standing up, that this issue that would have resolved within 1 or 2 or 3 days suddenly is like an ongoing issue that lasts for weeks and can wreck your child's sleep. Because as soon as you react, kids will be like, even young babies, they will say, I really liked hanging out with dad or mom. So they're gonna really want that interaction again. So they're much more likely to go to the behavior that gets you to come in. Now, if your child doesn't yet know how to go to sleep on their own, you have a little bit more leeway here because your child is already used to your assistance to sleep. But even for babies who, can be rocked to sleep and sleep decently well at night, these physical milestones can actually cause a bit of a rupture to their sleep, where their sleep was manageable and suddenly it doesn't become manageable. In fact, a lot of families that reach out to me for help or use my online courses come to me because their child was sleeping relatively okay, and then this sort of physical milestone popped up. The parent was reactionary, began to intervene, and now their child is waking far more frequently at night or needing a lot more intense intervention to fall asleep for naps and bedtime. Second scenario that comes up all the time, usually more of an issue for maybe like older infants and toddlers, but parents will convince themselves that it also happens with younger babies as well: separation anxiety. Maybe your baby is totally fine, your toddler's totally fine going to sleep, suddenly one day, I don't want to go to sleep, and they seem freaked out. Parents will start to project a lot of their own fears and concerns on their baby. They'll say they're scared of the dark, they have this issue, this other thing is going on. Once again, it causes parents to want to intervene when they really shouldn't be intervening. Like I said before, your primary concern always should be, is your child healthy and safe? Now, if you feel that it's important to go in and reassure your child that they're safe, you should do that. And then you should remember what I'm about to say right now, which is going in to reassure them once that they're safe is not going to take care of the problem. They're going to only want you to come in more and more and more and more. And this is going to become a much bigger issue. So I think going in once to confirm that your child is physically healthy, totally safe, that their room is safe. If they're old enough for you to tell them, hey, you are safe, you are okay. And then letting them work through the concern one time, the first time it happens, tends to actually reduce the crying. It isolates it typically to just one single episode. Another time that your reaction might break your child's sleep is around bedtime. Families come to me, they're always very surprised when I say, really? Your bedtime routine, whether your baby is an infant or whether they're a toddler, should be as short as you can possibly get it to be. No more than 30 minutes, if possible, including their feeding. So as long as your child can physically consume the milk they need to take before bedtime and get in clean diapers and jammies within 30 minutes or less, that is the ideal. Long bedtime routines aren't really that problematic for babies because they're just kind of physically being led through the motions, right? But as soon as that child is old enough to express any preferences, they are going to, please trust me, add more and more and more and more and more and more into this routine. So the number of families that come to me who tell me, I don't know why, but my routine is 70 minutes long, 80 minutes long, 90 minutes long, my child's asking for more. The more opportunities you give your child to ask for things and interact with you, the longer the routine is gonna come. And then the issue that's gonna pop up is once they get into bed in their crib or in their bed, and they're like, I need this other thing, I need this other thing. Don't have a long, elaborate routine. If your routine is really long right now and your baby is like, I don't know, under the age of a year, cut that in half, man. Like if you like your baby's routine because let's say that you are working inside, outside the home and this is the time that you get to spend with your baby, great, keep doing the routine. The routine should work for you. But if you are having this long multi-step regular routine every single night because somebody on the internet or a sleep coach or somebody told you that you need to have one to help your child sleep better, that's not true. They don't need any of that to sleep better. Also know that the routine doesn't have to be the same thing every night. You can give them a bath every second or third or fourth day if that's what you want to do, and keep the routine on the other nights a lot more brief. But please trust me, please trust my thousands of hours of experience and thousands of hours of fixing other people's sleep problems, and know that a shorter routine is pretty much always better than a longer and more drawn out routine. When your toddler demonstrates to you that they can climb out of their crib, or maybe they're in a bed and they've been sleeping in a bed just fine, and suddenly in the middle of the night, early in the morning, you wake up and you're because your child is standing right here breathing, ready to get up and start their day at 4:45 in the morning. Okay, your reaction in these types of scenarios is extremely important. If your kiddo is like 2, 2.5 or older, and you are shocked or you make a really big deal or you're upset, sort of like type of reaction, guaranteed they are going to do that more and more and more often. Toddlers and older, so children, love any type of attention. They crave any type of attention. If they cannot get positive attention from you, I guarantee you they will try to get negative attention from you. This continues on like all the way through elementary school, sometimes even into like adolescence. Kids really do crave and desire attention, that's fine. But if you react to something with negative energy or negative attention, but they are nonetheless getting your attention, they are more likely to go to that behavior more quickly. In the case that your child is climbing out of their crib, you can check out my book on Amazon. There's a great method in there for how to train your child to stay in their room. But even the first time that happens when they climb out of their crib, one, you know that you need to transfer them to their bed. Just make peace with that. Don't freak out. Don't get upset. There are resources to help you, but just stay calm. Before anything like this happens, already make the commitment within yourself that you're not going to freak out. You're just going to respond to them like normal. Be like, oh yeah, are you here? Okay. Method in my book will also help you if you have a child that's waking up too early. Anything where they're leaving their room, it's really going to help you work through that. If what I am saying sounds like it's resonating with you, don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell so you get all my notifications. And I can't wait to see you next time.